Hi Year 5 and welcome to Lesson 3. Now today we're going to learn about an extraordinary story, a story which changed history. We have been looking at crime and punishment, we've been looking at rules and law to really get a grasp of this subject before we go any further. Now yesterday we were looking at how we want the law to treat us all equally, and that we are all equally protected by the law, but we should all be treated equally by it too. And I wonder, what would you think if we were not treated equally? What if I said we're going to have a new school football team? I know a lot of you want to do this, but actually no boys allowed, only girls football team. Now I can think one or two of you would probably be all right with that, but actually, really? Would you like to be treated like that? What about if I said, okay, we're going to go on our PGL trip and it's going to be great fun. We're going to be doing all of these exciting adventurous activities, but actually if you're not 10, you can't come. Now, sometimes rules like that are applicable and need to be applied, but actually where it's not necessary, where is it actually just a treatment of inequality? That's something that I'm going to be looking at today. So we're going to consider the story of a lady called Rosa Parks, and we're going to be listening to this story. We're going to be creating a story map, like we do in school, of all the different key stages of that story. And then later on, we are going to be conducting and writing an interview as if we were investigating this case of Rosa Parks. So let's move on. Right, well, I'm going to tell you now the story of Rosa Parks, but before I do, can I recommend that you watch a video? I've put the link on the home learning sheet. Now, this video on BBC is just brilliant, and I would really recommend that you watch this in your own time. Also on there is a link for the Horrible History team. They have made a song with Rosa Parks in it, and it's very, very cool. I definitely recommend seeing that as well. So here we are. We are going to be listening to a story of Rosa Parks, and here she is, sat on the bus. Now, let's go to America. It's 1955 and we are in a city called Montgomery. It's in the state of Alabama in Southern America. Now at this time, Montgomery was a segregated city. Black and white people went to different schools, prayed in different churches, shopped in different stores, rode different elevators, and even drank from different water fountains. Yet everybody rode the same bus. But when they got on the buses, they had to sit in different areas. The white people sat at the front and black people at the back. Now Rosa Parks, she grew up in this very black and white world. It's really hard for black people, and many were angry and sad because of this segregation. It was not fair. They were not being treated equally. But if they protested, they would be thrown in jail. So, one day, the 42-year-old now, Rosa Parks, was sitting at the back of the bus on her way home from work. She was tired from work, but she also felt weary of being treated differently just because she was black. The bus was crowded and there were not enough seats at the front. That's the ones that were reserved for the whites. So a white person asked Rosa to move so she could sit down. Rosa stayed where she was. Eventually, The bus driver told Rosa to give up her seat so that the white person could sit down. Rosa said no. She refused to move, and so she was arrested. She spent the night in jail. But this one brave act showed people that it was possible to say no to injustice, something that is not fair and not right. So Rosa's friends declared a boycott. They asked every single black person not to use any of the buses in the city until the law was changed. The word spread fast and wide. The boycott lasted for 381 days, but it eventually was ended when finally bus segregation was declared unconstitutional by the US Supreme Court. It means no longer segregation was allowed on the buses. It then took another 10 years for segregations to be banned in any other American state. But finally it did, and all thanks to Rosa's very first, very brave no. Okay. So what I'd like you to do now, Year 5, is go through the story. You might want to listen to it again, or as I say, click on one of the recommended links, and then create a story map. Now, we do this all the time in school with our stories, and you know this shouldn't take you very long at all. You just need to do a quick little drawing for each part of the story. And you can see an example here. So now go and have a go at doing your own one. Hello, hello, hello. PC Smith here. I have just arrested a lady called Rosa Parks. You wouldn't believe what she did. She sat on a bus. Well, actually, she sat on a bus and refused to give up her seat for a white person. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Really, she knows the law. We must separate blacks and white people. And if a white person needs your seat, well, you just give it to them. But no, here she is now in a cell, and we need to interview her to find out just what she's thinking. First, let's think of some questions to ask her. Make a list of some of the questions you think would be good to ask Rosa Parks about where she was, what she was doing, and why she did what she did. Done that? Okay, let's have a look at some of mine and see if you've got anything the same. So I thought we'd start her off nice and easy, get her nice and comfortable, and ask her what time she got on the bus, maybe where you were going on the bus. And then when she's a bit more comfortable, I can get her to describe what the bus journey was like. How were you feeling? Because I want to understand what was going through her mind. What happened? Now I need to know each event as it happened from Rosa Parks' perspective, but also we'll be interviewing some other people and finding out from their perspectives what exactly happened at what time. I also want to gain an understanding of why she did what she did. What was she thinking? What are her justifications for her actions? So my last question, why did you refuse to give up your seat? Now, I'm sure you've come up with some other questions, maybe some more intriguing questions as more than mine. But make sure you've got your questions ready for our main task, which is coming up next. Okay, great, Year 5. So now we are ready to write our police record. We are going to write this record of an interview with Rosa Parks. So make sure you've got your questions ready. Now, we are going to write as if we were Rosa Parks. So we need to imagine what she was thinking, what she was feeling. So use the story to help you, your story map to help you as well. Of course, you might want to embellish and to add information to really create this character of Rosa Parks. Now, let me go through some of my writing as an example for you. So as you can see, I've got my title here, Police Interview. I've recorded the time. The time is 9:15 a.m. on the 2nd of December 1955, Montgomery, Alabama. Present in the room are P.C. Smith, P.C. Jones and Rosa Parks. Please could you clarify for the police records your name? My name is Rosa Parks. Please explain the bus journey. Well, I went to work as usual and then I got on the bus to go home. It was a particularly busy and very crowded at the back of the bus. Luckily, I had a seat. Okay, and how were you feeling? I was very tired. Is that all? What were you thinking? Well, yes, I was tired from work. My legs ached, my back ached, and I was so relieved that I had a seat and I was on my way home. But I also felt sad. Behind me were many people, all squashed onto just a few seats. All, of course, were black. In front of me, every white person had a seat to themselves. How is that fair? It's the law. Black and white people must be segregated. How do you feel about that? Well, clearly, I disagree. I wouldn't be here otherwise, would I? For many years now, I have put up going in a different shop, going to a different church, going to a different toilet, not even being able to use the same ones as white people. We should all be treated the same. Now, that's where mine ends, but I'm sure you could make yours go a little bit longer, where she could explain what happened on the bus. Now, for an extra challenge, those of you might like to have a go at writing another police interview, this time from a different perspective. Perhaps you could interview the bus driver, or perhaps you could interview one of the white people, the white person maybe who tried to get a seat and Rosa refused. So, I would like you to make sure you have written at least one police interview, one asking Rosa Parks, interviewing her questions, and if you would like the extra challenge of doing another one from a different perspective, then that would be great too. I look forward to seeing your work on your emails, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.